Alright everybody, welcome back, and we got ourselves another video, and it's a reaction type ordeal in some sense. It is a reaction, I know what I'm saying, but this is going to be a reaction to a concept I made nearly 2 years ago, nearly 3 years ago by this point, for an Ultra MUI to be coming into the game. Now keep in mind, again, this is 3 years ago, and all these things that you're going to see is just a wall of fucking text for the abilities. But yeah, also I am going to skip this intro. If you do want to watch, I'll leave it down in the description just because I'm going to be pausing it quite a bit. It is only 8 minutes, so it's not that long of a watch, so you know, you can give 10 minutes off your time if you're wee break if you're in work. But yeah, I'm going to skip ahead about... Yeah, there we go. Alright, so here's his stats being the 300%. Okay, now yes, here we go. Now we get up to this here. 14 stars, 300. I mean, nowadays at 14 stars... Then again, this is only like the base 14 stars. I don't think I include anything of arts boosting because I don't think it was a thing back then. I can't tell. You can tell me what it is. But baseline, I feel like as if this is still the top dog of everything. This is the top dog of anything. Baseline, mind you, right? Because people with arts boosting can get to this level. But that's with arts boosting, but that's just me. And for strike arts, it increases the strike damage by 30% for 20 counts. And obviously same goes for blast arts, being the same category. So the 30% is only base-wise to those stats. If I was to make it even more broken, I'd definitely just have a damage inflicted entirely, but... I mean, here, I'll say nothing else. Oh yeah, so now that I am saying this here, right? Cannot be nullified by any special moves, including counters. This is also in case for whatever goddamn reason, right? There is another counter unit like Namek Goku to ever come out. Well then, there you go. It cannot continue into that. And if you want to go for a clash, yeah, no, I just say fuck you. Get out of here. That's basically it. I just wanted to make sure that's here. Also, I want to also point out that all these this kit was also made around the time of, I think, Prime Sign, with the original MUI as like a baseline kit of some form. So I just want to also point that out. I completely forgot to say that earlier. Okay, now there is also something in this here that I have only realized. I did watch this beforehand before reacting to this here because I wanted to accumulate some level of informality. But if you do take a look at the green card and the way it's worded, right? It says there, increases inflicted by 30% cannot be cancelled. I never said how many times it could be used. So in other words, infinite damage. It just says cannot be cancelled, it doesn't say it cannot be stacked. It doesn't have a time limit. It could be 30% continuously. And it'll get more importance into later on in the kit. Also, I want to also just have baseline 100% to his ultimate damage so that way you can get even more of a nuke off. Because again, MUI is a powerhouse. Yes, I did also build them tanky as all living shit. But then again, I didn't actually think Transforming UI would have actually tanked as well as he did in his prime, right? Not now it is. Jesus Christ almighty. I won't even talk about that. But still, this here, you can tell, other than the ultimate, there is basically, like, fuck you. Here's damage. He's doing everything. Because this is just baseline. He draws a new hand every time. He restores 50 key every time. Gauge every time. And 30% every time. Right? There's no limitations other than the ultimate. But then again, that'll just be too broken. So you can stack this as many times as you want. I just wanted to point that out. In case you were confused with the wording. Okay, now this here. If I was to change this here, obviously it will be, instead of sustained damage cut, it will be damage guard. So it will be... And if I wanted to make this even worse, I would definitely have it so that that the timer for the nullify endurance is longer, so like 10 counts. Also, the point where I said cannot be nullified, cannot be cancelled or nullified, I cannot remember for the life of me why I made that. I think it was only because the fact that I think characters have permanent endurance no matter what they did, so I just gave him it. I cannot remember. I swear to fuck, I cannot remember. You will see cannot be nullified quite a bit. I could not tell you why. But I just put it there. The only thing I can conclude to it is I wanted an extra layer of protection with those buffs, so that way they can be completely fucked. Now this here is nothing. I need to say nothing about this here. All right, I'm going to tell you this right now.
To go into the respective characters, and
And same thing with this here. It's explanatory enough.
Because God Key needs it.
Now the 25 count is still like more or less the baseline for many characters. Now also I'm looking at this here. I can't even remember for the green card if I had to nullify enemy cover change at all. I don't think I did. Which, in fairness, now that I am also thinking of it, it would have been better off. But the 35% to allies is stupid, in all honesty. If I'm being honest with you, it's completely fucking stupid. And why he draws a green card afterwards, I don't know. The only thing I can say is that I'll draw the ultimate first before you get to the green card. So you basically kind of have to buff up the ultimate before you launch it. And the only thing I will say about the green card coming afterwards is so that you can get a fresh hand immediately afterwards. If you don't like your hand, you can just get a fresh hand immediately. The only thing I can say and think of for why I've done that. Okay, now if I, again, rewording this here, the way I've structured it, it would just basically be like more or less, it seems to be 100% damage received, so that would be like nearly the top end of something. So like, I don't know what, 200% to damage guard. That 200% to damage would be about, if I wanted to say, maybe 300%. If I was going off like the base and then adding it onto it, so like he gets 100% and add another 200 on top of that. Or it would just be flat out 200 and it would be flat out 100. Again, I do not know how the translation works from damage received to damage guard. I have no idea how that works, so I can't even tell you exact numbers. But obviously, hindsight now being 2020 with ultras nowadays having basically 360%. I feel like as if 340 will be alright enough, or 300% would be fine enough for him. It would be the lowest damage score we've had in a while, but it would still make sense. And damage inflicted and damage in general would, I mean, being realistic, I'd say 300% would be fine enough as well. But I would say 350 just because, you know, fuck you. The 70 key is still fine enough. The card draws beat by 2 levels cannot be cancelled. It's just infinite, right? That's just infinite. Gets all that's for immediately just coming on. So basically he's going to be absolutely nuking you still, even with his own cards. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time for you. And plus with anything extra added on top of that, he's already the highest damage dealing character in the game, alright? I'm just saying. Now, what I'll say for this here is that whatever I says there increased card draw for 1 level for 10 timer counts restores his own gauge by 70% for 2 battle members. That is also supposed to say cannot be cancelled, because it says cannot be cancelled with the 3 battle members and the 1 battle member. So that was just a mistypo for me if you were thinking you were going to get away with it. But still, level 3, just flat out for 10 counts. Like, again, I'm expecting this character to combo for hell, but I don't even think, I will at the end of this here check if I've done it for the green card. I don't think I did, because otherwise I would have. And again, the rest of that there, again, the nullified, I still have no idea why I put that. And the rest of that is just basically, as I said, they're off of Ultra UI. Now this here, the easy rush is still the thing. It's still a thing. I've seen clips where people have gotten it within the span of 10 counts. I've seen it. And yeah, no, the rest of it is also kind of just baseline in a sense. 40% is a lot. Nullify own elemental factors. It can just not be cancelled. It's just going to be flat there for you. And again, the rest of that there, funny enough, is from Ultra UI. As I said at the beginning of this video, I've based it off quite a bit from Ultra UI and MUI. Like, kind of getting some form of skeleton off of UI, Ultra, and to combine it with the LF is the way I wanted to go with this here. And with my soft prediction for stats being by the time it comes out. And in fairness, 14 stars. I feel like as if I'm quite on the mark for it. With the power fucking creep that life is, Legends, right? Just want to point that out. Yeah, and this here I just like, you know, here, let's throw all logic out the window. All the MUI from the LF from the 4th anniversary was able to just basically win and then just hit you, and bam, there you go. There's you 1% HP, even though you were at 10 before, 10 HP points before. This is basically, I was like, you know what, here, it should kill. I feel like it should just kill. So that's what I've done. And then after that, I was like, you know what, here, let's take some inspiration from Ultra Broly, who can basically cover change from ultimates and special moves and green cards. I was like, you know what, here, sure, why not? Why not? Let's just take his idea and just be like, bam, there you go. Right? Then afterwards, the rest of that is, again, pretty standard enough. But I've also made it broken to where you can just cover change as well with strike and blast. So that way you have two ends of nullification to be going off with you. So I've basically got 4 cover changes for this character. But here, other characters don't have cover change restrictions. So deal with it. Then this here, the available attacks. Tap attacks obviously don't do anything, as you see there. Strike arts, blast arts, and special move. Now, I never include ultimates because that would just be far too stupid. And they'll just turn into a Bojack situation. But the thing is, though, with Bojack, he has a counterintuitive cover change because he damages your teammates. So that's why he's able to do all that. He damages teammates. So that just completely gets rid of it. Whereas he doesn't. Now, I do this here fucking evade. I don't know what I'm saying with the fucking cover changes and all that shit. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, no, I decided not to hear AoEs. They don't even happen anymore. So I don't feel like there's any point in even putting that. But he will just basically dodge everything. This is perfected UI, more or less. So I kind of half made the Moro Saga. I made the Moro Saga before the Moro Saga came out. Alright, I'm just saying. Alright, here. I'm just saying. I made it first. Okay, now this here. Now the effectiveness of paralysis is fine enough. That's standard. That's a given. That's for anything. Right? And then the following effects of evading. Again, read that there again. 30% cannot be cancelled. Does that say anywhere for however long or how many times it could be done? No, it isn't. So anytime you evade, you just basically continuously get stronger. Again, I'm telling you, I've made fucking perfected UI before an Immortal Saga even happened, alright? I'm telling you. Alright? I don't know. It probably didn't, but here, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, I made this before I even gave a shit about anything in regards to the manga, right? And then that arts is 20 counts, that's fine enough. The nullify key and destroy cards, that's fine enough. And ally sub count by 2, still fine enough. Now, the performed is still from Ultra UI. And I don't know whether or not I explained that correctly, but basically, if you've got God Ku, Purple Gohan, and Fusion Super Vegito, right? If MUI is in a combo with Fusion Super Vegito, but Gohan decides to cover in, Super Vegito can be cover changed in with God Goku, and basically does that until, well, whenever we get into it. So, and then it'll repeat with Gohan, so that if Vegito tries to save him, then obviously it activates, and if someone tries to do it for God Goku, it'll still activate until you can't anymore. They don't have the cover changes anymore because they're already used up. And we'll see what happens after it happens whenever proxies. I still made that no sense, probably. Okay, now this here is, again, a UI sign, but the difference is it's going to be resetting so that every character still has to do it. In other words, and I never said for how many times, so every one of those 3 times, I basically draw another ultimate. He's an ultimate machine, alright? He's a damage machine. He can tank decently well. And yeah, no switching for 10 counts is powerful because you can just kill him even without using the ultimate, probably. So yeah, again, my job was to make him as broken as I possibly could. But looking back here, I should have done few things differently, such as new mechanics that came out here. There's too many of them. So like, we'll say for Ultra UI, if you strike attack him, he'll evade. And it'll just reset to basically nothing. So what I could do is he evades it, but then he hits you anyway. so that he's countering your attack. You call him off guard once, he'll counter it immediately. Because he's an adaptation character, alright? But he won't do anything. He'll still keep the key that he has, the vanish actually, the vanish you already have. The key that he has, the health that he has. Nothing will change. You'll just hit them. But I think that one won't kill. That's the one thing I will say. And yeah, that's basically the end of the video. But if I go back to the green card, if I find that green card, right? Nope, that's not it. Where's the green card? Here's the green card. No, okay, I did. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I did include the nullification for enemies cover. I wanted to make sure I included that. So again, 10 timer counts, infinite times. But yeah, no, if I was to like go off the basis of this here with the damage inflicted just right off bat, we'll do last man standing, right? So this here, 30%, he draws a new hand, meaning it's a random hand, so it doesn't matter. He could end up getting 2 green cards the next time, no green cards, 1 green card after he uses a green card. So we'll take off the basis that he draws 2 green cards. So this one and then new hand. So that's 60% just right off rip. And he'll continuously have that for the rest of the game. Then we use... Oh wait, we can't even use the strike arts here. Although the strike arts here, damage up. It just is damage up. So that's flat out damage. I think that's how that works out. Not even too sure myself. But this here gets 30% for 20 counts. So you can use the full hand of that. But I won't include that just for the time being. I just want to point that out. So again, 60 flat here, we'll say. Then we go find... Nope, that's not it. That's not going to be it there. Alright, here. So we can get to here. So that is just himself. So that's not for 30%. So include the ultra ability. That's 90%. Then afterwards, he can get to restore his key, 50 damage on Mian. So that's 110. That's no 140 using the Mian. So that's just infinite as well. Just wanted to point that out. Main ability. So that's already 140. Add on 200%, 340%. Right? And then with no battle members remaining, if I can get to it, this is very difficult. One battle member, which is basically himself, an extra 110. So I'm already on, what was it, 340? That's 450% to damage flat out. Flat out. As soon as he's the last man standing. 450, mind you. This is 450. This is what characters are producing. Just flat there. This is it. This is without. This is, although yes, fairness, base right off rip. He needs it for last man standing. But then again, if you really think about it, it is only like a 60% damage increase difference between the two of them. It is only for a limited time for this 50, and then this one is just flat out there. Same thing with the 80%, but still, it's massive. We'll say 450 again, last man standing, and we scroll over here. There's nothing here, thankfully for the enemy. Yes, this here has nothing. Perfected offense, defense. This here now, however, every time he evades, he gets 30%. So 100% reduces it by 20% each time. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I put it for, right? Yeah, 20% each time. Basically mean at most guaranteeing you 4. So that's an extra 120? That's yeah, an extra 120, right? And drawing green cards even more. So you can get 4 extra 50% buffs. That's another 200. So that's already another 320%. And that's not even including like the random generation you get from the cards. So easily could go any higher. So from 340 plus the extra 320, right? Just if you get unlucky with the green cards. You're already sitting there at 660%. 660% as a last man standing, right? I don't think any character is able to do that. Like, even if I want to take off the basis, like, it's basically just, again, taking off 60 right off rip. Basically, you could do the same thing. Just take off 60%. And then that's leaving you there with 600% right off rip sitting there from evading green cards, the whole shebang. And even then, those green cards, and even then, the gauge increases each time you use a green card. Right? If I, again, scroll back to here, green card here, it increases the fucking gauge by 40. And increases the extra damage. And I've already probably said that. So yeah, even more so, you can continuously evade and continuously get more damage. So I haven't even got even the tip of the iceberg at this point. Or at least near its peak. I'm like maybe halfway. Like at the summon point where you're actually supposed to start before you start reaching the peak. The base of the mountain of Everest. So yeah, even more so, I could hypothetically get him all the way up to nearly 1,000, if not maybe 900 if I want to be absolute baseline. This is from the old stuff. 900%. I didn't realize how broken of a damage guy. Like, one strike card from this character would be more than enough to kill the rat if he was red. Which I will have him as red, even though Gogeta is also red and he's an Ultra and Forgot Key mostly, even though he's Fusion Warriors as well. But still, you can delegate him to Fusion Warriors and just be like, here, fuck off, will you? God Key MUI Strike Based. This is basically the pinnacle of Legends. And then again, as I've put here at the beginning, these stats here are 14 stars without arts boosting probably. So 300,000 plus arts boosting could easily get him all the way up to a transformation level character with arts boosting Zenkai. I wish I was joking. With a hypothetical, this could easily get him all the way up. Again, I could be wrong in saying that this is without arts boosting. I don't know what I was smoking back then. But yeah, I still feel like as if this could be the most broken character in the game. Is this going to be the character in the game? Fucking hell no. I'm sorry. Nearly 1,000%, 900, if you want to lowball it, 800% damage inflicted from the old system. Translate that to the new system. It's basically, again, he will gap the game. He'll be timeless. Because Ultra Instinct units are timeless as fuck. Ultra Instinct ELF survived until Legends Fest because Beast Gohan basically gapped everyone. Like, Ultra UI survived quite a bit. Yes, Super 17 didn't push him out. But then he did come back after 17, just like died off. Right? Like, it's stupid. What I've done is stupid. And do I regret it? Fucking absolutely not. In some sense. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this reaction, rant, explanation, whatever the I'm going to call this in. I don't know. I shall see you all in the next one.